My name is Rolland Smith. I am a retired broadcast journalist. I am a longtime resident of Ulster County. I am neither a registered Democrat nor a registered Republican. I am a friend of Sheriff Paul VanBlarcum. There's been a lot of misinformation and spin about the sheriff, and I am here to help him set the record straight. Paul, I think a lot of people would like to know, why are you running for a fourth term? Isn't 3 enough?
Actually, I still look forward to coming to work every day. You know, I'm haven't had enough of it yet, I guess. Plus, we have some plans that we want to see completed in the next 4 years, both on the law enforcement side of the Sheriff's Office and the corrections side. And within the community, we have some plans, and I want to see those taken care of in the next 4 years.
Can you give us a hint as to what top priority might be over the next 4 years?
The top priority is the same priority that we've always had, and that's the cooperation of all the agencies within the county. That's priority number 1, to continue that and to make it better if we can find ways to make it better. We'd like to expand our urgent team. We'd like to expand our number of school resource officers. On the corrections side, we're working on green initiatives. We'd like to put up solar power to heat the hot water for this whole building, which is a huge undertaking. We're working on that now. Probably won't get going on that till next year.
Probably one of the biggest issues facing not only Ulster County, but other counties as well, is the opioid crisis. Any plans on that for the next 4?
Yes, you know, that's part of expanding the urgent team. They take the lead role in the fight against opiates and drugs and gangs in the county. Previously, we've already put disposal boxes in every one of our substations, so those drugs don't make them back out onto the street, or they don't make them into the environment. People flush them down the toilet. Eventually, they make makes an environmental impact on those. So, you know, that's pretty big. We now teach civilians how to use Narcan. We've already taught every police agency and every police officer in the county in the administration of that life-saving drug. So now we teach civilians. We have the Vivitrol program within the corrections division. So inmates that come in that are addicted, if they want to, we can help them while they're in the facility with the Vivitrol, and also as they're leaving the facility, steer them in the right direction.
Why do you think the Democratic Party turned a little bit against you and forced you into a primary?
Well, when I went to the executive committee meeting, their biggest complaint against me was that I went down to meet President Trump in the Oval Office. And I tried to explain to them that there was police agencies from all over the country there that day, and we were there to honor officers who died in the line of duty. And we were down there to honor Sergeant Kerry Winters, who died in a training accident at the Shokan Reservoir. And I explained to them why we were there, but it fell on deaf ears. They did not care why we were there. They just felt that we should not have gone down there to meet the president.
You were there basically just to support the family of the deceased officer?
That's correct, with the Winters families who were down there with us, and also all the other officers from around the country and their families.
There was some other issues that your opponent has been touting and spinning, I might add, about the warrant checks.
Yes, we did, with the authorization and the okay from the Commissioner of Department of Social Services. We started doing checks on everybody who came in over at DSS. We'd ask them for identification. We would run them through a computer, and if they were wanted for whatever, then we would take custody of them there. Nobody was ever denied services. Nobody that ever was asked for an identification complained. The only ones that complained were some legislators who didn't think that it was fair. The Attorney General's office got involved. Eventually, after months of asking, I got to have a sit-down meeting with then Attorney General Snyderman. Once I explained to him exactly how we were doing it here at DSS, he didn't have a problem with it. But prior to, because it took me months to get a meeting with him, a real sit-down face-to-face, we stopped doing that when the legislature threatened to defund the security division of the Sheriff's Office.
One of the other issues that your opponent is pushing is the lack of minority promotions within the Sheriff's Department. What's the story behind that?
The story is just the opposite. Since 2007, we've doubled the number of minorities that work within the Sheriff's Office. We've doubled the number of women that work within the Sheriff's Office since 2007.
What about the individuals who claim that they were not promoted because of race?
Well, it's true that they weren't promoted, but it had nothing to do with race. You know, we have to follow civil service rules and regulations. So under civil service rules, you have to take a promotional exam. If you don't take an exam, you can't get promoted. So 2 of them never took an exam, so I can't promote them. 1 took the exam and failed it, so I can't promote him because you have to not only take it, you have to pass it, and you have to score high enough. The last one, he took the exam, he passed the exam, he scored high enough on the exam, but unfortunately he got arrested for stealing from the Sheriff's Office while he was on that promotional list. But the worst part about that was when all that happened, I wasn't even sheriff, so I don't know how I get sued when I wasn't even the sheriff when that happened.
One time you made a statement about urging Ulster County citizens, if they had a gun permit, to carry a gun. You got into some controversy with that.
Yes, I did. And not a controversy I was looking for. What I did, it was after a mass shooting in San Bernardino, California, and was just trying to find a way to reach out to people here in Ulster County. And I did put out a post out there saying that I encourage you, if you are already licensed to carry a firearm, if you're comfortable, if you're proficient, and that you know the laws of New York State when it comes to using that firearm, then I encourage you to carry that firearm. And I also encouraged active duty and retired law enforcement officers to carry when they're off duty, that we are really the last line of defense.
Your opponent has also criticized you for statements on the NFL, the National Football League protest during the Star Spangled Banner. Yes. What's that issue?
Well, that came up on Veterans Day weekend last year, where there was a request out there for not to watch the NFL during Veterans Day weekend because of the issue where they're not standing and putting their hand over their heart during the Star Spangled Banner. I believe in doing that. I do that wherever I go. I believe that it's important. I love this country. I love the flag. So I was just trying to get my opinion out there that I really don't agree that I agree that they have the right. I agree with that, but I don't agree with what they're doing. You
have 17 endorsements from other police agencies, both regionally as well as locally.
Correct.
That's a nice record to have that many.
I'm proud of that. I think that shows that they like the direction the Sheriff's Office goes in. Almost to the last letter of endorsement that we have, they all cited the fact that the cooperation amongst the agencies here in the county, they're proud of that.
If you could talk to every resident in Ulster County, what would you like to tell them about your job, about you, and why you should be sheriff for another 4 years?
I really have given my whole life to the Sheriff's Office, and actually to the County of Ulster. I was on the school board in the Aniora School District. I was on the town board in town of Shandaken where I lived, and I worked out of that substation up there for about 30 years. I was an EMT with the Shandaken ambulance. I was a police officer part-time in town of Woodstock, plus an emergency services dispatcher there. You know, I love the county. I love this job, and I think I've made enough good connections that we can all work as a team. And I think we do the best and can do the best and continue to do the best for the citizens, the taxpayers, and the visitors to here at Ulster County.
You have a litany of accomplishments in your tenure here as sheriff of Ulster County. Could you list some of the ones that are important to you?
Well, again, and it's not accomplishments of mine because we're a team. You know, it's everybody that works here, and I couldn't have done any of this without the support of the people that we have employed here. The urgent team that we put together, we promised when we ran in 2006, that was our #1 goal, is to put together a countywide drug and gang team. Coming in under budget every year for the last, well, this will be the 12th year if we can do it again this year. To me, that's huge because we watch of the funds that we have control over, because out of our budget we only have control over, I think 3 or 4% maybe, or maybe 5%, because the rest is all contractual and union contracts. So coming in under budget every year, we're proud of that.
Sheriff, what would you say the state of mind of the Sheriff's Department is today compared to when you first joined the force?
Well, when I first joined back in '76, there was no cooperation. Everybody was trying to jump other agencies' calls for service, race to be the first agency on the scene, and we don't have that anymore. Now we get to a call, every agency works together. If a deputy from the sheriff's office is on the scene and a sergeant from the state police is there and the sergeant asks you to do something, you do it. On the same token, if a sergeant from the sheriff's office is there and asks an officer from another agency to do something, they do it. That's how well we all work together now.
Well, I thank you, Paul, for setting the record straight, and I wish you much success in the primary that's coming up in September.